Now, regardless what kind of apps you're building, you should definitely be thinking about how to leverage AI in order to make your apps more robust. Now, all of that used to be complicated and you needed to be technical in order to make it work, but that is all part of the past because right now it's relatively easy and straightforward to leverage AI to make your apps a lot better for your users. And so in today's video, I'm going to be showing you some amazing tools that you can easily plug into your apps and leverage large language models to make your apps a lot more robust and also a lot more user-friendly. Now, before we get started, as always, if you're interested in taking your no-code knowledge up a notch or two, then you definitely need to join our amazing Patreon community, and you can learn more about our amazing Patreon community using the link in the description below the video. Now, it's also worth to mention that the apps and the tools that we're going to be covering today are going to be either free or they're going to have a very generous free plan that you can get started with without grabbing your wallet. So the first tool that I want to cover today is called Stack, and it is available at stack-ai.com. And this tool allows you to build and deploy AI applications in minutes, the fastest and more reliable way to incorporate custom large language models, LLMs, such as ChatGPT into your product or team. All right, so we're going to go ahead and log into my free plan right now so that I can show you what this tool does and how it works, okay? All right, so here I am logged into Stack, and the first thing that we have here is the 4 tabs. We have projects, data, fine-tune, and deployment. So we can start a new project from, or we can start from one of these templates right here. So let me show you a couple of examples. So let's say you're looking to do something like a document database Q&A. So you can simply click here, and you can take a look at different templates that allow you to feed in data and do a Q&A on that data. So you have document Q&A, document analysis, Google search, URL, Airtable, Notion, API. All right, so let's go ahead and try URL Q&A. We're going to select this. And as soon as we select the template, we are redirected to this screen here, where on the right-hand side, we're seeing this kind of diagram here, made up of components that you can drag and drop all over the place. And then on the left-hand side, you have various things that you can kind of drag and drop into this app here. And so just to show you briefly what's happening here is that we have an input here, and this is where you can interact with the data, okay? And when we talk about data, this is this part right here, right? So you're specifying a URL that goes into embeddings, and then we have the OpenAI, which is our large language model here. And here we can select, maybe we want to use GPT-4, and here we have a system prompt, and we have the user prompt here, okay? And here's going to be the output that the model needs to mimic for us. So what we can do here is we can click on play, and the model just executed, and this is the result we got. The main character is Jerry Seinfeld, okay? And so why exactly did it do that? Well, it's all part of this prompt here, right? So it says here, you're a helpful web assistant. You will receive pieces of a document in the context and answer questions about it. And the question in this case is, who is the main character? Okay, so we can change this, and that's going to change the output. So let's say we change the input to who are the characters. Okay, now we're going to click play, and let's see the output that we're going to be getting. And here the model finished executing. This is what we have. The context mentions several characters in the show Seinfeld, including the principal characters who are close friends, and then it lists the characters. If you have seen Seinfeld, let me know if this is the correct answer. Now, if you're happy with this model, you can click on publish right here, and that's going to publish your app here onto the internet. It means that you can access it using third-party applications, using APIs. So if I go back to projects right here and click on deployments, I'm seeing this project here called Web Scrapper QA. And if I select curl here, I have a sample code that essentially gives me access to this app that we just built using an API interface. Okay, so basically, if I'm building like a Flutterflow app and I need to do some work in the backend, well, that Flutterflow app can now access this particular app using this curl interface. Now, the flow that we've created here is barely scraping the top of the surface. There's so many things that you can do. There's advanced use cases, classifiers. You can build chatbots, document database classifiers, all kinds of things where you can essentially feed various data to your LLM and get the exact results that you are looking for. So this makes it all very, very easy to do. Now, the next tool that I want to talk about is called Relevance AI. And this is the fastest way to build supercharged AI tools. Take GPT to the next level and build end-to-end custom LLM apps and agents that you can share, use, and run in bulk today. Fully managed, low-code, and developer-friendly. Okay, so you can sign up for your free account, which I've already done. And so I'm going to go ahead and log into my free account right now. All right, so here I am logged into the dashboard right here. And you can obviously create a new chain from scratch, or you can start with a chain via a template that already exists. Okay, so you can do something like GPT on your files. You can categorize text. You can do GPT on my website. You can ask internet, so ask questions from Google plus GPT. So you can take a look at all of these templates and see if one of these templates is similar to the problem that you're trying to solve. And if that's the case, you don't really need to build a specific chain from scratch. And so let's say you're looking to use an LLM such as GPT on your own files. Okay, so we're going to click here, use this template, and we are going to start from a pre-made flow that we can customize according to our needs. Okay, so this is called GPT on my files. Get your questions answered on any PDF, CSV, or audio files with GPT. So the first thing that we need to do is we need to drag and drop a file. So here I'm going to drag and drop a file. And the file that I'm uploading is about Roman Empire. This is a PDF that I created from Wikipedia's page on the Roman Empire, okay? Here, you can enter a question. So maybe you want to find something out about this specific file. So I can say, why did the Roman Empire collapse? Okay? So we're going to say run once, right? And here we are running our pre-made flow, okay? And this is the answer that we got. The Roman Empire collapsed due to a combination of internal and external factors. And so the answer is very, very concise, but it is the right answer. And so if you want to learn more about it, right, what you can do is we can clone this template and we can edit it. We can see how it was built. And so we've just cloned this template, and now we can learn more about it and tweak it if necessary. And so the first thing that we have is we have this user input component here, okay? So this is the part where you are uploading a file that you want to learn more about it. This could be a PDF, CSV, or audio files. And you're going to have access to this variable here. And then the next thing you need to do is you need to have an input field for the user to enter a question. And this is what you're going to be given. This is going to be the value right here. And what's cool about this is that for the input field, you don't need to have it as a text input field, right? You can have an options drop down, a numerical input, a text list, JSON, you name it. It could be a bunch of different things. Next, we have the LLM. So if we expand that, this is our LLM, right? So we're setting up the prompt here, right? This is the context, which is the file text. And this is the question that, you know, the user gets to ask in regards to the document or the media or whatever they are interested in, right? And here we can specify the model. So this is actually using GPT 3.5 16K. We can choose a different model if you want. And last but not least, we have the chain output, and this is where we're going to get the answer to our query, okay? So we can click on configure the output, and as you can see, we have steps, prompt, completion, output, answer. This is the answer, and this is going to be available as output.answer in case we want to do something with that variable. Now, if we're happy with the way that we build this flow, we can go into use, and we can run this in bulk, okay? So we can upload multiple files and ask different questions. We can also create a chatbot. We also have a schedule, and then we also have API, right? So if we click on deploy, here we're going to be given an API endpoint And we're also going to be shown a sample request body along with a sample curl request. And you can easily access this flow using a third-party app. So if you're building like a Flutter Flow app and you already designed this flow here, then you can easily connect your Flutter Flow app using its API functionality to this flow right here, which is awesome because now you don't have to worry about doing all of this LLM stuff in your Flutter Flow app. You can easily build your app just to do the UI stuff. And here you can worry about the LLM stuff, which makes the whole process a lot easier and more straightforward. Now, the next tool that I want to show you is a tool that I'm very, very excited about because you can build some interesting apps using this tool. So this tool is called Streamlit, and it's available at streamlit.io. And this is a tool that allows you a faster way to build and share data apps, okay? Streamlit turns data scripts into shareable web apps in minutes, all in pure Python, no front-end experience required, okay? Now, unlike the previous tools that I showed you, this is going to be more of a low code type tool, which means that you still need to write code, but you don't need to, get a PhD in computer science in order to build simple web apps. And also there's a really nice benefit to using this tool that I'm going to share with you a little bit later in the video. Okay, so how exactly does this work? Well, if you scroll down, you can see that you write a little bit of code and you get beautiful web apps. And so essentially this tool provides a very, very rich framework for easily building all kinds of web apps. Okay, so here if you go into gallery, you can see all kinds of different apps that you can build using this tool. So there's a cheat sheet, you have Goodreads analysis app, and Goodreads, if you're not familiar, is like a book review type site where people review different books. You have some roadmap, you have a gallery, Wave quick view, you have a pretty map, some kind of a mapping app, extras. Here you have Knowledge GPT, you have eCharts, image background remover, and all kinds of very, very interesting apps that you can build relatively quickly. Now, since this video is focusing on AI, let's go ahead and open up this app so that we can see what kind of apps that we can build quickly with this tool. So this is what the app looks like. And the first thing that we need to do is we need to paste our API key here. So I'm going to go to my OpenAI API dashboard, create a new key, call it stream, copy this key right here, paste it in here, press enter. And now it accepted our key. So now what we can do is we can drag and drop a file here, and then we can chat about this file. So let me go ahead and upload the same file about Roman Empire. Okay, so it's uploading the file. It's indexing the document and it's done. So now we can ask a question about the document. So why did the Roman Empire collapse? And let's see if it works. All right, and here's the answer. The collapse of the Roman Empire can be attributed to various factors, including the assimilation of Germanic peoples, internal political conflicts, and the disintegration of the Western Empire. Okay, so it goes on. And if you notice, this answer is a lot more comprehensive than the answer that was generated in using one of the previous apps in the previous example. And so it also provides the sources here as well. And so as you can see, this particular app works perfectly. And so you can go back to the gallery here, click on view source, and you can take a look at how this particular app was built. So if you choose Knowledge GPT here, which is the name of the app, you can take a look at how this particular app was built. And so as you can see, this is the main file right here for the app, and it's only 117 lines. And so it's not a very, very involved app to build. It's not a very, very complex app. And that is because this Streamlit framework provides a lot of the functionalities, a lot of the tools that allow you to build all kinds of web apps very, very quickly and easily. And there's also a shortcut that allows you to build many of these apps in record time. And that shortcut is getting GPT-4 to help you build all kinds of apps. So here's my GPT-4 conversation here, and I'm going to make this conversation available. So all I'm saying is write me a little app using Streamlit. We'll ask a user for input and then send it to GPT-3. So a very, very simple app. Sure, below is a simple Streamlit app that has the user, etc., etc. And this is the app that it created. And so all you need to do is follow the instructions when it comes to building a brand new app on Streamlit. Then take this piece of code and just copy and paste it in the exact spot where it tells you that you can put your code. And as a result, you're going to have a very, very simple app. And so just to show you how GPT-4 is actually generating the right code for you, if you take a look here, you can see that we have this user input equals to st.text area. And this is that text area field that the user sees where they need to enter some input there, right? And so if you go to this knowledge app, you have the same thing. You have this st text area, right? And you have this, kind of, a hint as to what the user needs to do. This text that appears near the input, so the user knows exactly what to do. And it's the same type of code that GPT-4 generates for us. And the other thing about GPT-4 is that it's really, really good with Python code. It might not be as accurate with some of the other languages, but when it comes to Python, it has been very, very solid. And Streamlit uses Python as its language for building these web apps. So you can easily ask GPT-4 to write you a sample Streamlit web app that you can copy and paste and launch right away. Now, the next tool that I want to show you is called Cohere. And this tool is available at cohere.com. And here you can click on products and kind of learn more about this tool. And so you can do summarizations, you can do generate, you can do embed, semantic search, re-rank, classify. And it has, command models and embeddings as well. Okay, so let's go ahead and log in so that I can show you the power of this tool. All right, so here I am logged into Cohere's dashboard here, okay? And if you scroll down, you have these quick start tutorials, okay? So you can sort customer questions, you can summarize passages, intent recognition, analyze user sentiment, and then you also have different ways of doing that, including our favorite no-code way, which is this curl interface right here. So now I can also click on models, and here I can create a custom model that I'm going to create with my own data. Now, the best way to understand the power of this tool is to scroll down and go to their playground. So if I click on playground, I have different things that I can do. Okay, so here's my generation tab, and examples of things that I can generate essentially is a LinkedIn post generator, a blog title, alternatives generator, blog post title. I can even see more, and I have more options here. If I go into classify, I can classify different things, right? So here's an example of things that I can classify. If I go into embed, and what's going to happen is it's going to take a list of sentences and output a list of vectors, allowing models to compare their meanings. So let's say I go into generate here, and let's say I want this blog post title, and it says here generate 5 titles with topic, tone, and audience, and this is the input here. Okay, write 5 titles for blog ideas for the keywords large language model or text generation. Okay, so I'm going to click on run right here, and we're going to wait for this generation to finish. And so here's the result that we got. We can obviously tweak it more, change the input, change some of the parameters. Now that's nice at all, but one of the more powerful things that it can do is if you go into embed over here, you can do some really, really interesting things. So if you click on see more, you have restaurant customer inquiries, you have Y Combinator thread titles, subreddit titles. So if you click on Y Combinator thread titles, we have our input here, okay? Embed takes a list of sentences and outputs a list of vectors. And here's our prompt. Identify 5 unique clusters from the dataset of thread titles on Hacker News. And so if I click run here, we get a really nice visual representation of different titles clustered together. So here's one cluster, right? So it says here, should I quit the field of software development? Did your life as a parent affect your life as a developer? right? So this is more kind of life thing. How do you deal with lack of motivation? How are you getting through, not burning out? So this is kind of self-improvement, right? How do you create productive habits? How do I stay motivated to learn, etc., etc.? If we come over here, we have three more clusters, and they're kind of separate, but yet they're still close together, right? So if you take a look at this, who is seeking a co-founder? Did your YC startup fail? Obtaining initial users for startup, right? And here we have interesting software books, non-tech books, which books, mental models. And then we have another one. What is your favorite tech talk? What's the best technical ebook? So as you can see, it's clustering it. They're kind of similar, but they're still individual clusters. Here we have another cluster, the reading HN bring anything valuable. What are some of the best HN comments that you've read, etc., etc. And then last but not least, this has to do with Google. As you can see, is it just me, or did Google search recently get a lot worse? Is someone hijacking Google images? What's up with Google, etc., etc. So this is a really, really nice kind of visual diagram that you're able to create with some data. And here you can click on view code, and you're going to be given a code that you can use in order to get this data back. So if you're using Python, Node, Go, you can use these snippets of code, but typically if you're doing no code, you're going to be using curl. And so here's a full curl request that you can execute and get the exact results that we are seeing here. So a really, really powerful tool that allows you to analyze and kind of slice and dice your data in order to learn some interesting patterns that may exist hidden deep inside. Now, the next tool that I want to talk about is called Monster API. And this tool allows you to do something truly magical, and that is to fine-tune an LLM, to fine-tune a large language model. Okay, so generative AI made easy with Monster API. Effortlessly access powerful generative AI models with our auto-scaling API, zero management required. Okay, so if you're not familiar what exactly is fine-tune and how it helps you, well, you can think about it this way, right? You have an LLM, which is a generative AI model, so it completes something that you may ask it to do. But if you are looking to change the behavior of an LLM, maybe you're looking to teach it something new, maybe teach it a brand new language, or teach it specific terms, or change the way that you want it to respond to your queries, then in that case, you're not looking to give it embeddings, you're not looking to give it new data, you are looking to fine-tune it, because only fine-tuning changes the actual behavior of an LLM. And this tool allows you to do just that. So if you click on AI models, you can see all the models that it supports. You can take a look at API docs. Here you can learn more about fine-tuning an LLM. So if you click here, it walks you through the process. You have a first, second, third, and a final step right there. And so if you're interested in more of an in-depth tutorial on this specific tool, let me know in the comments below. Now, last but definitely not least, this tool is called Metal. Okay, and this is the LLM developer platform for real-world use. From idea to production, Metal will help you build AI into your product. So we're going to go ahead and log in into my free account here. And so here I am logged into Metal's dashboard here. And the first thing that we see is the three tabs here. So we have data retrieval, we have chat memory, and we have settings. So for data retrieval, you're going to be seeing your indexes. Okay, so you can create a new index, but I already created an index here. So if we click on this index, I can add records that I want to have stored in this particular index. So I can click on add record here, and I can upload the file, add text, add image, or use the API. So what I'm going to do is add text over here. And so here I can submit a specific piece of text and also attach metadata to it. And so that way, when I'm actually retrieving a specific piece of text, I'll be able to get the metadata, and that way I will know, what the text is about. And typically the way that you're going to be doing it is, let's say you want to store a piece of text. So for instance, this paragraph right here, you're going to copy this paragraph, paste it in here. And for the metadata, you're going to be providing a JSON formatted string that's going to have this text. So I'm going to enter this. Here, I'm going to close this. I'm going to say index. Okay, so now we've added another piece of text into the index. If I reload this, we now have 3 pieces of text stored in this index here. Now, let's say I'm working with custom text. Well, in that case, I need to tell the system whether 2 pieces of text are related or not. So in that case, what I want to do is I want to click here, enable this tuning mode, right? And then what I can do is I can click on this wrench icon right here, and I can say label closer, label further. And that way I can fine tune specific pieces of text depending on my specific use case. And here I can go into fine tuning here. Now, once I finish labeling all of my text according to my specific preference, I can click on this fine tuning area here, and I will see all of my text here that I labeled myself. Okay, so some I labeled closer, some are labeled further apart. Now, when all of this is said and done, I can click on run tuning, and I can run a tuning job, and that's going to create a fine-tuned version of all of these texts, of all of these embeddings that we created initially. Next, you can click on clustering, and you can generate clusters from your data that we submitted in our index right here. So lots of very interesting things that you can do. And of course, you'll be able to access all of this using an API as well. Now, if you're watching this video and you're thinking to yourself, you know, I really like the tools that you covered, and I'm actually looking to leverage one or a couple or maybe all of these tools in my app that I'm building, let's say with Flutterflow or something like that, which is the logical step. Well, in that case, what you need to do is you need to check out our amazing Patreon community. And so if you're looking to level up your no-code knowledge, maybe you want to build that dream app that you've been thinking about for a long time, or you want to become a freelancer, or you want to get a job as a no-code developer, then the content and the resources that you're going to discover inside of our private Patreon community is going to definitely help your no-code development and accelerate your no-code growth. Because when you become a member, you're going to get access to all the no-code apps that I covered on this channel. Plus, you're going to get access to extra content such as Q&As, live streams, behind the scenes content, and our Patreon supported masterclass series where I do a deep dive on the topics that the community votes on. And above and beyond, when you become a member, you're going to be supporting this channel and supporting my work, and that is highly appreciated. So if any of that sounds like something that's going to provide you with value, then you definitely owe it to yourself to check out our amazing community and consider becoming a member. And you can take the first step by clicking on the link in the description below the video.